Welcome to Kump. We are looking at the wife of the presumptive. Is that how New York City works? Once you win the primary, you're presumptive.
You're right in there.
Zoran Maggiano, what is his name?
Zoran Mamdani.
Mamdani, the socialist mayor candidate. And proud is member of the Islam, and people are mad about that.
Part of the Society of Islam Friends.
Yeah, I'm just trying to be accurate in my reporting. And everyone's freaking out about his wife, saying how good she looks.
People are saying this lady's model material.
She's not. I mean, look at her face closer.
You're a tough audience.
She's perfectly fine if you're not gonna what's the word that people use? Simp for her?
Yeah.
I'm not gonna simp for look, what is he wearing, by the way? Is that some kind of?
That looks like a traditional.
Is that Indian?
Yeah, I don't know what the name for it is.
What country is he from?
His family's from India originally, and then they moved to Uganda, and then they moved to the United States.
Whatever, I don't care. She's not she's wearing. Look, those boots, high boots look good on women. She ain't no model. All right, you look and scroll down. These are the pictures that people on Twitter or X or whatever they keep showing me. They're her wedding pictures. Now, I don't know who goes in the subway for their wedding pictures, but they did, and that's what we're looking at. I'm not simping for some mid. I don't think the grocery store is a good idea. I think you've
been very anti-grocery store idea from the beginning.
People love to be whatever racist or Islamophobic, whatever you want to call it, and I'm fine. Go ahead, that's fine with me. But my biggest issue is the grocery store. He wants to put grocery stores run by the government, and I explained on our Patreon this week why that's a bad idea. That's patreon.com/RayCump, by the way. Get an extra episode every week, $5 a month, not bad. And while we're at it, if you don't want to do that, how about you subscribe to the show at least? Cost you nothing. Look at the rat, the rat graphic. It's nice, right? I designed that with the help of the thing that's going to replace me. So anyway. The grocery stores don't work because the grocery stores only work now. There's not that much profit. They only work by getting kickbacks, allegedly, from Coca-Cola to get better placement. And we're not going to do that with the government. Plus, they ain't paying you $40 grand an hour or whatever the hell the city workers get paid to fill potholes with rat traps.
But what if it was volunteer run?
What kind of sucker is going to volunteer run for? What are you talking about?
Like in the same way that a food co-op is run, like where you work for a couple of hours and then you get cheap groceries in return.
I don't speak cotton candy language and candy cane dreams. I don't know what you're talking about. No, you have to pay people. So I love this idea of like the socialism is going to work in America. First of all, our socialism is communism. They don't do this in Europe. All right, they have stores. They have Aldi and stuff, Yeah,
fancy stores.
They have nice stores too, but I'm saying they have supermarkets.
Yeah,
where people in the estate, here when you live in the estates,
and unpasteurized cheese. Yum yum.
Yeah, well, yeah, you can have that too if you go co-op on a cow. I knew a guy who did that. It was a chef, and he owned shares in the cow, and he got a certain amount of raw milk every month. And it was probably great for him. He was able to poison his fucking customers.
I'm always hearing about how raw milk cures all disease.
Yeah, not botulism.
And you live forever. I wonder where Zoran stands on that. I want him to comment on the raw milk issue.
I mean, he'll probably tell you.
Should we be drinking that?
He'll probably tell you some nonsense about how he's going to tax 50 Cent. I'm going to tax every rapper. It's just classic. It's like this is what happens when society breaks down. You have carnival barkers coming around telling you they're going to give you a supermarket. I mean, Lucy had a great idea on the Patreon where she said we should just, for these food deserts, we should serve poor people rotten vegetables.
Well, not rotten ones, just ugly ones. The ones that make rich ladies uncomfortable to look at.
Rich ladies,
they look too phallic, or they look too diseased. But they're fine. They taste fine.
You're not in on what's going on in the world anymore. I'm sorry. I've kept you sheltered for too long. Rich women love that now. They parade these deformed vegetables and fruits and call it organic. and tell their dinner guests, look at this ugly rutabaga. Who does this look like? You wink wink. And some kind of thing like that. They joke about the poor. They say he looks like a gardener.
Jesus.
Yeah, stuff like that. They're awful. They're awful people.
That's mean.
They when they get behind closed doors, rich people hunt their help. And that's the thing. Like, I don't like to be. I'm not a socialist, but I'm also not gonna I'm not gonna simp for the rich,
right?
Because they reason they have these areas with the high bushes, and gates
where you're looking through lemon trees.
Yeah, well, you can't see.
Disguised by lemon trees.
Yeah, they're shielded by their own lemon trees in Bel Air or in the Hamptons, the rich Hamptons. It's because they once those gates close and their Ferrari goes through it, or their Bugatti, or whatever the hell they're driving, their Porsche Cayenne Pepper, they're playing the most dangerous game. It's just off to the races. They go, it's like literally a reverse Jurassic Park.
Right.
Remember those gates in Jurassic Park? It's the opposite. It's like, shooting my mate. That's is there a new Jurassic Park coming out? It's all about shooting people.
I always imagine them playing like a little psychological game with themselves, where they act like they're actually love the maid and they're being very generous towards her. Uh-huh. But then they're also paying very close attention to her.
Yeah.
So the first time she makes a mistake, they're like, "I got a hunter now."
I would, if I was really rich and wealthy and I had a maid, I would feed myself little bits of broken glass every day and frame her for trying to kill me. I would try to get away with. I would try to do like fun stuff like that, because it's like what's the bit? You don't think I can hunt like some woman who has to serve me? If you're living your life serving me, then it's not, you're not exactly the apex predator. Mm-hmm. If you're under my thumb, So my trick would be to see if I can get away with framing them for murdering me or trying to murder me. I probably screw up and end up dying. I'm bleeding out. I'm like, the maid did it. Oh, I'm puking blood. Like it's 28 years later or whatever. Shout out to Danny Boyle. We saw 28 years later. Danny Boyle says he made a Brexit film. I'm pretty sure it was not Brexit. I'm pretty sure he was making a movie trying to inspire those Englishmen with all those flashbacks to bows and arrows. A lame thing.
Kipling and an old timey British guy's voice screaming Kipling at you.
Yeah, I'd love for them to get look. Everyone should be fine. You don't need to have Sharia law in London, and we should stop bombing places in the Middle East as much, so people don't feel compelled to do that. Yeah. That being said, it does. So I'm all for English pride. But can you be inspired by anything cooler than a bow and arrow? People freaking sickens me. I mean, I really sickens me that I have to pretend to respect England because it's like, oh, you don't want to see you hate white people in England. No, I just can you stop pretending bows and arrows are cool?
What's interesting?
You're not Legolas from Lord of the Rings.
What's interesting to me is the bow and arrow, symbolically in film.
Yeah, it's
always kind of portrayed as the weapon of the weak. A woman will have a bow and arrow, or a little boy will have a bow and arrow.
Well, not Legolas, the elf.
but they actually take a lot of. They probably take more. They take more strength to operate.
I don't know if you ever picked up a broadsword, but maybe you're wrong. You ever shoved a
Those things are hard to use.
You ever shoved a broadsword through plate mail? I don't know.
Have you?
Yes, many times. Many times in my previous outings in life. I used to be a mercenary in the Crusades. I was a Hessian mercenary in the Christian Crusades. So what's people upset about? People are upset about Zoran. I don't love him. I think he's no good. But I had an ongoing duel with my with these people who come to my door. Some guy at the poll. I cursed out some guy he was like standing outside the polling place.
He was a little out of line. He was asking people who they voted for. That's not.
Well, I mean that's
classy.
exit polling. That's exit polling.
Oh, he was trying to poll us?
I don't know. I
thought he was just excited. I thought he was.
If that's the case, then I guess I was wrong. Maybe a little wrong. If he was just a guy. I assume because we have the whole thing is we have ranked choice voting.
I've never gotten an exit poll before.
Me either. Yeah,
it's uncomfortable.
It's not right. Don't harass me.
Yeah, he was on my ballot.
Who was?
Zoran.
What do you mean he's on your ballot?
He was on my ballot. I put Brad Lander first.
Yeah, I don't know what you're doing over there. He was nowhere near my ballot. We have ranked choice voting, and which is a new thing I guess for New York. And so I think it's new at least. I'm not sure I ever voted for mayor before. But yeah, this is the so I voted for Cuomo, which I don't love. I'm not happy about. But and then number 2 I put Paperboy Johnson.
But you're so anti Me Too. You gotta make a statement.
Well, look, I mean, did the mayor really sexually molest 20 women? Is that true? If that's true, why didn't we hear about this before? When no, seriously, what do you mean? We look at it like that for?
Well, we did hear about it before.
We did hear about it before. We hear about all of a sudden it happened and he was out. Bill Clinton had years and years and years of terrible looking women that he was like. I'm saying these weren't even models or anything. They weren't hot. They weren't Zoran's wife. That's how much of a weird creep Bill Clinton is.
Right, yeah.
I'm not saying
these were sex addict decisions.
I'm not saying
it was a real sex addict spread.
Don't let me clarify myself. Please don't interrupt just for a second. I want to make sure. I'm not saying just because the woman's not hot that she's not a proper victim. I'm just saying the guy was all unhinged. The guy was just every second of his life. He's like, let me find something to fill. It's not the coffers, I'm just saying. And so Andrew Cuomo, I never heard about him having a sex life. I mean, I'm pretty sure he dated the woman who let me say this without getting sued. The woman who I think always came off like a drunken woman on TV, but maybe it wasn't. The star of the show Mostly Homemade on the Food Network, I think it was. She would make cocktails out of tuna fish and cream and a little bit of vodka or a bunch of vodka. That was his, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah,
that was his longtime girlfriend. Mm-hmm. And then supposedly he's, molesting 20 women.
Right.
I don't know, but I voted for him. And I voted for some guy named Paperboy Johnson. I don't know anything about him. I hope he's not a real creep. Can we look up Paperboy Johnson first? Who is this guy? Is he named after the video game Paperboy?
What, you mean Paperboy Prince?
Is that his name? I don't know. Wait, is this the guy who voted? Oh, what is he? Oh, no. What's this? Is this the guy I voted for? The street performer running for... Well, that's not great. I hope he's not the mayor either. This is the name. What are we looking at here? What is this? This is the guy I voted for? Oh, why is he called Paperboy? I've never seen a guy like this delivering papers. Well, I don't want him to win either. There's what happened to just people running for mayor? Why can't I should run for mayor. What happened to Eric Adams? Seriously, people are gonna vote for a socialist. And I'm not saying it's the wrong. Can you not be Islamic? But I mean, just say it is not the majority thing. I'm saying people will vote for crazy, things that normally would disqualify you before they vote for a guy who made his brother the chief of security. That's the biggest thing they said about Eric Adams. Mm. Oh, he let the cops arrest people. It seems crazy.
I mean, look, he brought back stop and frisk, which is a controversial practice.
Don't stop and frisk people.
I don't think he did it quite as badly as
Giuliani?
Bloomberg did back in the day.
Yeah, maybe not. I don't care. People being set on a fire on the subway. I'm kind of just frisk people. Frisk me if you want. I get frisked at the airport every day. Every day they go, they look at me and they go, we gotta touch your dick and balls. at the airport. They always pull me aside and like, I'm gonna use the back of my hand. Like, you can still feel it though, right? Mm-hmm. I love how the idea, like, oh, it's the back of my hand, so I can't feel nothing. Is the back of your hand burned, or are you feeling my balls? Why is that better? They're using the back of their hand. If a man brushed up against you in sensitive places with the back of his hand, wouldn't you stop him?
Yeah, I would.
Yeah, well, I let it happen. Because I gotta get to L.A.
I don't think anyone's ever touched me at the airport.
Yeah, well, you're not as desirable as I am. if only.
But you know, I think what's interesting about Zohran'S wife is that, like, you know, it's not so much. I think people are.
She's a Mossad.
Because you're right. Like, most people do look good on their wedding day.
Yeah.
You know. But, like, I think the idea is there were lots of tweets going around saying, like, oh, his wife's probably in a burqa or whatever. Mm-hmm. And she's sporting thigh-high boots. She looks pretty, you know.
No, that's not most people in the Muslim world are in burqas.
Well, yeah, I mean, we know that.
Yeah.
But, I mean,
your opposition to Islam should not be based on... I don't think people were in burqas in the Middle Ages during the Crusades. Mm-hmm. I love this idea that people think they're going to be more Islamophobic than, like, the Crusader Knights. It's like you're not. Like, they went and conquered the Holy Land back and whatever. Or not back. England never had it. But apparently they got it at one point. Right. Or France or whoever the hell held it for 100 years. It was 100 years, right? Mm-hmm. I'm just saying, I don't think people had burqas back then. So don't act like it's... I mean, there's other things. You don't need the burqa thing. It doesn't matter. You can still be...
It's all just the Crusades references, all of this stuff. It's just a giant game of risk.
No, I'm for the Crusades references. I'm saying there was none back then. You don't have to, like, make up things to be Islamophobic about. Mm-hmm. You can just be it.
Right.
You don't have to, like, make up... You can know about the world and still hate people. You have to be ignorant. Stop basing your hate in ignorance, is what I'm saying. Know a few things. You know, you don't have to be like a moron to be hateful. There's plenty of things to get mad about.
But does everybody look this good on their wedding day?
I mean, look,
you never saw any girls on their wedding days in your days.
I've taken pictures of them. I've taken pictures of them heifers on their wedding day. What do you want me to do about it? It's like, yeah, not everyone, but it doesn't make her Cindy Crawford in the Diet Coke commercial in '92. You know. She ain't got it like that. Stop pretending. Because she's got a neck covered with some scarf. Oh, while some homeless guy's, you know, relieving himself in the back. You know, look at this. I mean, how many?
Some people like this look for their wedding photos.
Look at this guy. Yeah. This guy. Who wants a wedding photo with some guy on, like, you know, on Tinder with some kid pretending to be a 10-year-old girl? You know what I mean? In the front here. I'm just saying, this is not exactly...
Is the guy on the right's just getting a text updated about how his cat's been euthanized?
Yeah. And she's just like, do I look like a princess? And he's like, my dad's rich. You guys know, that's the biggest thing. How about we just stop having mayors whose dads are rich? How about that? Is that ever going to be the case? Eric Adams is the first mayor whose dad isn't rich, and everyone's pissed off about it.
I like it when the aristocratic class has power.
Yeah, you'd probably love it. You'd probably love King Mamdani then. Why would you want to be run by aristocrats?
I want to be run by aristocratic socialists.
I want to be run by slobs. By freaking slobs who make their brother the comptroller, and you know, that's all I'm asking for. It's a little bit of respect. Mm-hmm. Just make me feel. Let me get a proper egg sandwich in this city. I shouldn't have to go out to Wonton to get an egg sandwich. You know? I shouldn't have to go out to Mineola on the LIRR to get an egg sandwich and smack down with some grill marks on it. That's not what this is for. Keep your chopped cheese out of my eggs. Anyway, welcome to the show. I'm on one today. I'm off the rails with anger and piss. Republicans are calling on Trump to revoke Mamdani's citizenship and deport him. I don't think that's a good precedent to set. But that being said, the precedent has been set already. You know, I mean, this is the thing. I mean, I don't.
I mean, how are you gonna do that?
Is he a citizen? I assume so, right? If he's
a citizen.
I mean, have we deported any citizens and not pretending like it was a mistake yet? Has anyone been deported? I guess we've arrested some. Has anyone actually been deported who's a citizen?
I think it's mostly been people who are here on student visas or something.
Yeah, look, I mean, what Trump has done is he's rewritten the whole meaning of having a visa, apparently. And that's beyond my scope of knowledge. I don't understand. I'm not sure how sacred visas are and green cards and all these things. I know it's legal. I know it's not what he claimed in the election. I know it seems awful. And, but I just don't know, you know, did they make this stuff up 5 years ago? Or visas, or visas, how old? I know, I'm mostly kidding. You're supposed to push back.
I'm sorry.
No, it's you should not deport people who have legal visas, especially not when the only reason is because Israel asked you to. This guy said something. The children we killed. He said it was sad. Can you deport these people? Okay. Let me bomb Iran and miss. We'll get to that in a minute.
He needs. I mean, a lot of people are coming out after this guy. He's got a lot of enemies.
Who?
Zoran.
Well, I mean, he's a smug, annoying looking guy. He got the face of a guy who's like he's very hateable face. It really isn't. It has nothing to do with the Islam thing. It's just he's a really annoying looking guy. If the Ayatollah Khamenei or whatever his name is ran for mayor in New York City, I'd vote for him. I think he's a good leader. I think he's got panache. Khomeini, I'll make him the president. The original guy, I mean, he's dead. But Zoran just has this really annoying, like he didn't earn it kind of vibe. Like he's just like a putz. If I can invoke a New York term, he's a putz. But look at the supreme leader. He's got a great headpiece. Not everything Islam does is bad. So people gotta get over this stuff. Just so you don't want him to be running your city, and you're gonna talk about whatever what they have in Europe. They have grooming gangs. In Paris or whatever they call it.
That's what they say.
That's what they say. Who am I to say it doesn't happen?
I don't know that I don't know that that's never happened.
Yeah, what am I gonna say? I'm gonna say, hey,
you're really caught between a rock and a hard place on the left on this one because, like, it's like you got to believe victims, but you can't. But you can't. In this
you
case.
Can't blame You can't blame Muslims for anything.
Right.
It doesn't seem like a hard place. It just says stop doing it.
Just follow your heart.
Is this the Supreme? Who are you showing me here? The Supreme Leader?
People have been sharing some of these, like Khomeini's feminist tweets.
Oh, if women do not take part in the social movement of a nation, that movement will not gain any result. I mean, look, yeah. I mean, that's better than anything Barack Obama ever said.
Yeah.
Right?
And he tweeted something about how a husband should be sensitive to his wife's emotions.
Look, I mean, yeah. Look, I mean, the fact...
Khomeini's a feminist daddy.
Look, I'm not saying the burqa is a good move, but I mean, they don't do it because they hate women. They're just very jealous. They're jealous. They love women so much and they're jealous. Look, no one wants... Look, here, you gotta understand. No one wants to own something that sucks. Right? Like, you shouldn't own women. I agree. I agree that women should have autonomy. But the fact that someone wants to own it doesn't mean they hate them. Mm-hmm. You gotta understand. That's what I'm saying. You gotta understand. Your hate can come from different places. But you gotta understand. They don't want other men looking at their wife's ankles. That's not nothing. That means they value them. Now, it's wrong. You shouldn't do it. But it doesn't mean like they think women are scum.
Right.
I mean,
I think there is some logic behind it where it's like they'll harm men by tempting them with their looks or whatever. It doesn't seem great.
Well, look, I mean, it's not all false though. Mm-hmm. Women will do that. It's just you shouldn't pour acid on them when they do. People can't get it around there. These guys on Twitter, it's all like, oh, women be like that though. Yeah, it doesn't, but you can't just deform them for it. So sometimes women will do that. Okay, nasty business.
You got to make a beat over it. You gotta get on the synth.
Yeah, get on the synth and make a beat
and get all your emotions out on the synth.
Like Kanye. Mm-hmm. He made a beat and it was a good beat. He got his emotions out. And I respect it. He just wants his kids back. Is Trump gonna? Is he announced he's gonna deport Zoran or?
I don't think he said anything about it. Let's see. The New York Young Republican Club.
Interesting.
Reacted to the primary results with a call to action on X. The radical Zoran Mamdani cannot be allowed to destroy our beloved city of New York. The group urged the president to invoke the Red Scare era Communist Control Act to yank Mamdani's citizenship and promptly deport him.
How about, look, if this city can't, can you just try to vote for someone? Can you run an election? I mean, have Republicans run a candidate people will vote for.
Right.
How about you run a candidate that's also a little socialist, just less. That's what I would do. I would try to get Barack Obama to run for mayor.
On the Republican ticket.
Yeah. I'd pay him under the table like $100 million. You told me there isn't some guy out there that'll pay him $100 million? Probably is, right?
Yeah.
No, $100 million.
How important is the city to you? How beloved is the city to you?
Get your friggin' friends. Your friends have money. I think they do. I think people with money don't like this guy. Am I right here?
Get 50 Cent to run.
Yeah, forget 50 Cent to run. Get Sean Puffy Combs to run. Was he busy? Is Puff Daddy busy? Maybe.
Imagine that, this guy's hero. I bet Zoran looked up to 50 Cent at some point because he was trying to be a rapper for a little while.
Zoran was?
Yeah.
That's so much more offensive than anything else. This is some idiot trying to rap.
Imagine your hero going up against you in the general election.
I don't know. Like we were talking before the show. You were dogging on 50 a little bit.
Well, yeah, I feel like he's just whining about the idea of getting taxed.
Well, let's set this up. We'll set this up in a second. But you said he wasn't a good rapper, and I defended him a bit. Mm-hmm. But I'm not gonna. He should not be anyone's hero. I thought "In the Club" was a good song. I thought Magic Stick, which I think is a little Kim song or something, but he's on it. Mm-hmm. Or maybe it is him. I don't know. But she's got a great beat on it. I like the Magic Stick. Is that they ain't talking about him? It's a dick. But it's nice. I mean, it's dick. I'm saying it's a nice song. Anyway, but I don't think you should be able to deport people just because they're Muslims who run for mayor.
And just because they beat.
How about you do it before he wins? How about you do it before he wins? You can do that.
Right.
Can you idiots try to think of anything? How about where's this energy during 2 months ago when I was yelling at people on the street? Or an election day. This guy, because we didn't finish the thought before. So we're doing ranked choice vote, and he's like, "You guys vote for Zoran #1." I started screaming, "No!" And I'm like, "Who the hell? What business is it yours? You piece of shit!" And I was cursing at him, and I was yelling, and like, "Why don't you stop harassing people?" As I was walking away. Some of it was as I was walking away. But he didn't follow me.
Well, that's the New York move. You scream as you walk away.
You don't stop and that's something.
You don't walk towards someone and
that's
yell.
something you do in Tim Waltz's state in Minnesota. Yeah. You plant yourself. You start cursing. What are you doing? No, in New York we got keep it moving. All right. I'm gonna stay here and hang out with you. No, just come on. Anyway.
If you ain't walking backwards while you're yelling, you're gonna get set on fire.
Yeah. Seriously, you gotta keep your distance because people just light you on fire in this city. Yeah, look, some homeless guy can just have sex with you while you're dead in the subway and then light you on fire, and you can't do nothing about it because you're dead. That's what New York's about.
Is that a mental health issue, Zoran?
Yeah.
When a guy has sex with you and you're dead?
Yeah.
Is that a mental health issue?
What kind of store government run store you gonna open to keep me from getting fucking have my corpse pumped outside of Coney Island Aquarium? What are we doing here, Zoran? You can't just keep opening stores. Is it gonna have? What's it gonna have? Any of the good stuff?
Let's be honest. There is a store.
Which one?
There is a store we could open. It wouldn't be moral.
What store? I don't know.
I'm pretty sure Islam would be against it.
I don't know what you're talking about. No, I don't know.
It's a store where you could get that urge satisfied.
What? Adult bookstore?
No. An adult body store.
A body store? What is it? No, stop! I don't know what you're talking about. What are you saying?
A place where you can do exactly what we're talking about.
A brothel?
Yeah, but
a brothel's not a store.
But for the deceased.
A funeral home? What are you saying? Just use words.
A funeral home / brothel.
Okay, so it's not something that exists.
No.
All right, you were making it sound like I'm
saying there's a store you could open.
Okay,
that would be like that. But
to be fair, I'm not trying to I wasn't trying to undersell what you're doing here. But I really thought you were trying to like, allude to something that exists. I couldn't think of a store that would do that. I'm a cynical guy and I couldn't think of any store that operates like that. But you're right, we could do that.
It would be illegal right now.
If the mayor does it, it's not illegal. That's what you gotta understand. That's what they've been drilling into our heads for years now. If the president does it, it's not illegal. Now I find that questionable, but it seems to be true. By all intents and purposes, right? Mm-hmm. Stop pretending like the rule of law exists. It's about money and sex and power and corpses and humping. That's what the economy is run on. I made falafel this week. It was tremendously good.
It was very good.
Air fryer falafel.
You made a nice tahini sauce.
I made tahini sauce. I mixed the chickpeas and the herbs. You can be a multicultural person. You can do it and not be a punk.
And still have hate in your heart.
Yeah, not be a punk. I also made Chinese garlic sauce. What does that make me? Whose wife am I simping over now? Get out of here. What's going on?
You shouldn't, and it's good for you. It's moral for you and upright for you to not simp over her. She's a married woman.
I don't care about that. I'll simp over, Big Mike all day. What? You didn't like Michelle Obama?
I did like Michelle Obama.
Thought she was great. I don't care. That's the verdict of that. You tell me all these things, I don't care. If it is there, fine. I'm not like into it. I'm not hoping it's there. But it's like, I'm still gonna vote for her. Mm-hmm. Just saying. So what's this you showing me?
Are you excited for the new James Bond film?
I've never been in my life.
You're not a James Bond boy?
I enjoy Daniel Craig's first couple. Actually, a lot of his movies were good. But we have you showing me the new.
You don't like the ones from the '60s where there's go-go dancers?
That's fine. Like I was watching some of Goldfinger on the plane last time I was coming back, and I ended up just turning it off and drinking whiskey on the plane. Mm-hmm. Deadheading. But they're nice. They're like it has nothing to do with spies. I like spies like the Americans, where like he has to shove some woman in a suitcase, but break her bones, right? And it's sad. It's morally complicated. James Bond's just doing.
Where people are just evil, but really evil. Yeah,
James Bond's just doing that, but he's making it seem like it's just like fun because she's just she's from the north of England or something.
She's exotic.
Yeah, she was. Yeah, she was born in Liverpool or something. So it's okay to just kill her. Whatever James Bond's whole thing is, I never understood. He's like I never understood his idea of like we're rich boys. He says I'm a rich boy. British rich boys can go to hell. That's my verdict. But yeah, Denis Villeneuve. New Delhi boy. Fuck, I hate this guy. I can't say this guy's
The Doom boy.
The Doom boy. The guy made Dune and like what's the other shit?
And also Prisoners, which I actually.
Yeah, it's fun. Look, like the guy.
I really like Prisoners.
Look, Sicario is okay, and like Prisoners was kind of dumb. Prisoners was fine until you remember that they tried to make that into like it was like, oh no, it's a metaphor for the Iraq War. I was like, what?
I don't really see how it works like that.
Yeah, no, exactly.
I like the serial killer with all the snakes.
Yeah. No, it's all fine. It was fine. It's all kind of nothing though. And Sicario, like, I'm Benicio del Toro's a hitman, whatever. It's these movies all stink. The new Blade Runner. Denis Villeneuve can go to hell. People have gotten so mad. People have gotten more mad at me about that than the fact that than anything I've ever said in my life. I should have Denis Villeneuve. I had a friend text me, and I talked to him in 10 years, and he's like, "Hey, how you been, man?" I'm like, "Oh, good." He's like, "Have you seen the new Dune?" "Yeah, I didn't like it." And he's like, "I'm not really a big Denis Villeneuve," and he got mad at me and he stopped talking. He didn't talk, and that's it.
That's how relationships end nowadays.
Because because he's the most mid director. He's the Zoran's wife of directors, and and people act like People act like, oh no, you gotta like this French Canadian moron who just freaking makes drivel. I mean, look, David Lynch's Dune isn't perfect, but it's infinitely more interesting than Denis Villeneuve's nonsense. I don't even know where to start. It's just slop. It's just it has no passion. It has no, lust. Didn't he make that movie? Did he make Annihilation? Oh, he made The Arrival, right? That
right.
nothing movie. That big nothing of a movie. God, that movie stunk. Amy Adams can go to hell.
That's right. You have these amazing aliens behind the glass.
Yeah.
And what are you looking at for the entire movie? You're looking at Amy Adams' fat face and her little drawings on a board.
Her Irish mug. Anything more annoying than Amy Adams is that chick in the F1 movie.
I wanted the movie to be about the aliens.
Yeah. Just why don't you know what Kubrick, a real director like Kubrick would just show you a bunch of stuff that doesn't make any sense. You go, well, it's the aliens. These guys are like, no, let me have Amy Adams decipher it. Imagine if you were watching 2001: A Space Odyssey, and like you go to that vortex, and then you're in that room, and like he's going to the star baby, and the whole time Amy Adams is squawking at you, explaining it. No, and now he's the star baby. You lose, you have lunch. You vomit all over your child. You eat your popcorn. You eat popcorn and just spit it up. I'm just saying, no one needs Amy Adams. She was terrible Lois Lane. She's terrible as she's good in that episode of The Office, I guess, as a vapid hot chick selling purses. No one needed her in Doubt. Remember, she was harassing Philip Seymour Hoffman in Doubt.
Oh right.
Kidding, he was a child molester, right?
Yeah. Or maybe not. Who knows?
Yeah, maybe she made it up. Mm-hmm. Her and Meryl Streep cooking things up, trying to bring down men. I don't know.
That's where the doubt comes in.
I doubt that she's an actress. She won an Academy Award for something, didn't she? Disgusting. Doesn't she have like 2? I think she has like 2. Anyway, I hope she's on. I hope she's on the new. Is she gonna be the new James Bond?
I don't think so. Okay. I don't think she'll be the Bond girl.
Who is Tom Holland? Is Tom Holland gonna be like hey guys, I'm a spy?
It's gonna be Timothy Chalamet playing James Bond.
It would be. I mean, the British people would be more mad about that than honor killings on the streets of London. if a Yank was playing James Bond, they have more pride in James Bond than they do in their country.
I feel like this is going to be a very depressing James Bond.
I mean, the last one was very depressing. You didn't watch it though.
Wait, which one was that?
The one where he died.
Oh, okay.
He got hit by a missile.
Oh.
He got hit by a nuclear missile or something.
Daniel Craig?
Yeah, you didn't. It's been years now. I told you to watch it. You wouldn't finish it with me. I didn't want to spoil it, but at the end of it is him getting hit with like a nuclear missile or something, and just taking it to the dome. It's like, but it's very sad because his daughter's alive or something. He has a daughter and she's alive. He banged up some nurse somewhere or some cocktail waitress. And she calls up like, I heard you're my dad. And he's just like, he got a tear down. He's going, well, I'll never pay child support. But he literally takes a missile to the dome.
That's a tough way to go.
Yeah, it was a good move. I mean, the weird
Can't do an open casket after that.
No, your mother can't bury your baby boy.
And honestly, that's a very undignified way for James Bond to go out.
It felt. I actually teared up a little bit, I think, or like whatever that feeling that men get when they don't cry, but it's just kind of like it starts to well up. You start to feel emotions for a second. You go, "What is this? What is this? Am I gay? Is this what gay is?" So whatever that feeling is. I felt it. Is my point. I've also felt it when Jenny died in Forrest Gump when I originally saw it.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
I feel like that's a big litmus test for the male heart.
And when
how they feel about Jenny dying of AIDS.
And when they say that guy Boggs will only drink through a straw the rest of his life in Shawshank Redemption.
To me, if a guy can feel bad for Jenny dying of AIDS, to me it shows that he has soul. Yeah. Because even though she's a big piece of shit, he still feels for her. Yeah, no, nowadays, you showed Forrest Gump to some whatever, Zoomer, Twitter boy. They just be like, oh, she shouldn't have stripped. The only problem they have with her is that she stripped. Right. You know? She played guitar naked or something. She shouldn't act like that. They might as well be friggin' whatever, Burker boys.
trying to get women in burqas. These guys are like, this whole horseshoe theory. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
They would accept it if you showed them a different design for the burqa.
Yeah.
But it basically accomplished the same thing.
It just looks like Iron Man.
Right.
It's like a Hulk. Imagine we America. If America was Muslim, we would have like Avengers themed burqas. We'd have like burqas that look like the Hulk or Iron Man or Doctor Doom, and you'd buy them at Target. You buy them at Walmart. It'd be a SpongeBob burqa. We would do nothing. I don't know why Islam would want to take over America. We'll ruin it.
Oh yeah.
We'll ruin Islam. We'll just make it. We'll make it just disgusting.
We'll do a theme park style.
Yeah, it'll just be like we would turn Mecca into like I don't know into Six Flags.
Right.
It would just be like people you really want Americans pilgriming to Mecca? I mean, it would be a nightmare. You'd have just fat slobs with their dumb fat wives,
and their wife is wrapped up in a burqa that looks like a Godzilla egg, a metallic Godzilla egg.
Just like a velociraptor from Jurassic World on it, like it's steamed. Just some, it's just showing up and we're playing. We have Bluetooth speakers and we're playing 50 Cent albums or whatever the hell. Is no one I'm not even saying everyone should stay where they are. I'm just saying be careful what you wish for taking over the world because
right.
if America does go Islam, it's not gonna be good for anyone.
Yeah.
But who did they say who the new James Bond's gonna be?
I don't think they said yet.
Look at his face. Look at Daniel Villeneuve's face. I'm supposed to be. Oh no, this guy's the best. He squints all the time. Enough. It's not like we don't have any other directors. I get it, if Christopher Nolan wasn't still around. He's on the apex, but he makes interesting enough movies. Wes Anderson. Oh, he always makes the same movie. So, so you want him to direct James Bond? Is that what you want? Well, you care. But that new one's good. The Phoenician Scheme.
Yeah, that's a good
I like that. I like Phoenician Scheme. What else did we see recently?
It's not quite as deep as Grand Budapest, but it was a lot of fun.
Grand Budapest isn't deep either. It was more touching.
Right. Yeah, moving.
Yeah, it's moving. Because he's like, don't touch you out. Because he stood up for the Nazis in some fake fantasy land. Don't touch my. In real life, that guy would have been like, please take my busboy. That's offended him.
It's not so much that he stood up to the Nazis, though obviously that's noble.
Yeah.
It's more the fact that he's this romantic.
Right. This
little blip of romanticism.
Right.
Was about to go out of the world.
Yeah, it's like Rurouni Kenshin. I get it. Yeah. It's nice. You should watch Rurouni. If you like that, I don't know why you refuse to watch more than one episode of Rurouni Kenshin, because that's literally the whole gimmick of Rurouni Kenshin. Just a man whose time has passed him by, and he's trying to atone for the sins of his past. And you're like, this is cartoons. I'm not some guy with an anime profile on Twitter, but I can appreciate art. I mean, these people. I love to. I'm gonna take all these socialists on Twitter telling you how Zoran's vegetable store is gonna work, and they're all they're pictures from the most obscure dumb anime that I can only assume is not something you wouldn't admit to liking in public, if you know what I mean. Things get kind of dicey over there in anime land. A lot of strange. I mean, I'm not accuse anyone of anything. Oh, you haven't seen? Look, if you think it's a badge of honor to watch, you haven't seen Zohran'S Pancake Wars? No, I haven't. And they act like, then you don't know nothing. And you're gonna tell me about a Zoran banana store? Enough. I'm not taking my social cues from people who use anime as a badge of honor. I watched anime.
What if it was just a giant? What if the vegetable store, the Zoran vegetable store, was just a giant fruit stand? Everybody loves a fruit stand.
Yeah, I mean, because they have good fruit typically. If fruit stands had rotten bags of of brown liquid in it, you would not like a stand. He was going around to falafel guys and going, "How much is your chicken and rice?" And $10. And he's like, "Oh, whoa!" And they're complaining about some the guy who's renting them the thing. And he's like, you know, when you vote for me, I'll make sure everyone who wants a license gets one, which doesn't sound feasible, honestly. And then your chicken and rice can be $8.
Ooh, I hope that he wins that. I want to sell my Madelines on the street.
Well, we'll talk about that in a second. The point I'm making here. We'll get to your Madeline muffins. They were very good. Yeah. But I'm saying here is that the point is that $8 is not like it's $2 cheap. It's like running on like, well, if you vote for me, I'll make sure the Big Mac value meal is $1 cheaper. What is that? Like, how is that your campaign promise? People are being lit on fire in the subway.
That's a lot of babies who get to get a Big Mac in their mouth at the end of the night.
Chicken and rice isn't that good. And also people being lit on fire at Coney Island. I don't know if this is like, can we talk about this? I'm not the alarmist. I'm not the guy who like goes, oh no, a homeless guy might kill me. Oh, I mean, at a certain point you sound like a bitch.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. Like you can't be afraid of every homeless guy you see. If you can't take a homeless guy, like, women, children, you know, like young student, you know, men maybe. Like, yeah, you can be afraid of home, but like you can't like come to me like, these hillbillies on Twitter are like, oh, I never lived in a big city and have to be where a homeless guy could kill me. Well, if a homeless guy could kill you, then you're kind of a bitch. They don't have a home.
That's right.
I'm just saying, I can see the comments now. Kump thinks he can fight a big homeless guy. Shut up. I'm not gonna pretend to be afraid of a guy who doesn't have a house. I'm not gonna allow it. I don't think they should be allowed, you know, on the subway. Get them out of the subway. I'm all for that, but stop acting like I'm supposed to, like, you know, run away from them.
It's all an attitude, you know.
Have some swagger.
Obviously, everyone can be hurt in random acts,
yes.
Lightning strikes,
sure,
of if you will.
I think it's a little different than lightning strikes, but yeah.
But like, you know, but you don't. The point is, you don't build a personality off of cowering from these things.
Right. Thank you. Yes. It's like in the zombies. The 28 years later, they're like, yeah, look at these dumb zombies. Yeah. And hit them with arrows. They're not going, oh no! Even when they're running, they turn around and shoot them. You know? Oh no, we're out of arrows. And then at some point you run, but it's like, you know, act like a man. Even if you're a lady. Now you make Madeline cookies.
Yes.
Now people who aren't familiar with Madeleines, they're like a French cookie.
They're a French cookie, a soft,
spongy, but it's not sponge cake, but it's kind of a spongy cookie.
It's a bit more of a spongy cookie.
Delicious, very buttery and delicious. Mm-hmm. You made these Madeleine muffins.
Madeleine style muffins.
Yeah.
With strawberries and honey, and homemade whipped cream.
And you want to sell them on the street to homeless people.
I want to wear a little French hat and sell them to people on the street.
Sure, we can allow that. I'll have to have like a scimitar in case a homeless guy comes around. That's what those swords are called. Those big curved swords that like Saladin had. I'll have it over my head like it's Indiana Jones. You know, don't enjoy the cookie, but don't get any ideas. We're not victims. Yeah.
That's what Zoran should offer people.
Yeah.
Scimitar with every. Do you have the scimitar?
Scimitar, yeah.
A scimitar with every new business.
Yeah, look, I mean, honestly, if you're allowed to, like, cut someone's hand, like, look, we can import certain things. Like, yeah, you shoplift from me, I'll cut your hand off. That's a nice policy. Not every policy they have is terrible. Now, I'm not saying that the cops should be able to do that, but the business owner should be able to cut hands off. And he's got to justify it. Mm. And the cops should be like, there should be a legal, like, thing where, like, the court, like, it's not like it is now where if you do that, like, it is stacked against you, right? And you'll never get away with it. It shouldn't be quite like that, but it should be we should build a certain level of purposeful skepticism into our legal system. But that doesn't mean that you're not allowed to do it. But we do kind of go, like, it's like one of these states that's so eager to, like, have people killed for some reason that they go like, no, as long as you're in your house, you can shoot people from your house, or whatever they do in some of these states. If you live near a public pool, you can shoot at the pool. Like, I don't think that, I don't want that, but I do think we should have a certain level of, like, look, we're going to ask you some questions. And then, look, everyone's got cameras now. We're living in an age of cameras. If you don't have a functioning camera, here's the thing, if your camera, this is not Jeffrey Epstein. If your camera doesn't work, you're not allowed to kill. Mm. Right? Right. I think that deserves a little more.
Yeah, you got to make sure your cameras don't run out of batteries.
Yeah. Because Jeffrey Epstein got killed when the cameras were malfunctioned.
That's right.
Okay. Wasn't sure if you remember that. Jeffrey Epstein was a financier who had an island that molested people. The island is, I guess the island of it.
That would be creepy.
Imagine
that would be a cool kind of Cronenberg.
Yeah,
movie.
imagine if the island was just haunted.
Yeah.
Is that what we're supposed to believe?
Haunted molestation island.
That'd be a crap. That's why he couldn't go to court.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's why I had to kill him, because the island is, you know, couldn't defend itself. Couldn't speak. What?
But I don't know. I mean,
You want to sell cookies? How much are your cookies or your muffins gonna cost?
I want this to be nostalgic. I wanted to harken back to the old days where you could get something for $5.
No. How about we lean into the fact that people charge a ton of money? We charge $30. I think we call it $30 muffins. And I think that's the idea, right? Mm-hmm. Or the $20 muffin. 20 muffs. 20. We call it Lucy's 20 muffs. And we don't mention the no one knows what a mad line is. It's good because it is a mad line. That's just what you say. Like, what's so good about this muffin anyway? Well, it's actually based on a mad line cookie. Oh, that does sound good.
It does sound good,
right? So that's the thing. That's what I'm a good marketer, even though I don't market this show at all. But like, you know, the idea is that like you market it as an expensive muffin, and then people go, "What's even so good about this muffin?" And then you have that as a 1-2 punch. Well, it's actually kind of like a Madeline cookie. Well, those are delicious. They sell them at Starbucks. You'll know what they are a little bit.
Right.
Those are soft cookies. They taste like, you know, women's parts. Soft. Don't taste, they feel. Whatever. You know. Don't get me I'm sorry. What do you want? What do you want me to say? It tastes like, you know. You think of a better thing to say.
Don't take these muffins on the subway. If you want me
to use different terminology, go into Patreon. I can say whatever I want there, and they do. I say nasty stuff. I say the nastiest things you could possibly think of on Patreon. I have to replace a few words on the fly here. You know, sometimes. Even though I feel like I've said a lot worse things this hour. Whatever. What do you want me to do? Well, you want me to cut myself a hole in my heart and spill it out into the world? That's actually kind of poetic. I should be a rapper, like 50 Cent. Did we miss Iran? Did we miss those nuclear sites? I don't know. It seems like we might have.
CNN is saying that we did, and then the White House is saying well, you know what's interesting?
Yeah.
Is that CNN is saying and I remember reading this because I don't read it in the news or anywhere very often.
Right.
They're saying that the mainstream media outlets are saying every credible source and every credible intellectual in the national defense community is saying that we missed the targets.
Yeah.
And then when you go to the White House website,
they're seeing they're dirty dogs. I mean, literally, Trump is just dogging them out. Just saying another word. What did you say?
It's the exact same language. Every credible source and every professional in the national security community is saying these sites were totally destroyed.
No, we have actually gotten to the point. I thought it was hyperbole for a while. I think it was. We've actually gotten to the point of subjective reality.
Right.
And look, where it just literally, like, facts don't matter at all. Like, barely at all. It's kind of interesting. I don't know how we're still operating the way we do. I mean, you could agree with Trump. You could not agree with him. I disagree with a lot of the things he says. Let's just say. I don't know that anyone would agree with how he's. I mean, they do though. This is like it just seems so haphazard. The tariffs and then this and nothing seems. I mean, it really rewrites economics for you a little bit. Because they go, oh, businesses need stability to operate. They need to be able to forecast. And they're like, we're still doing fine. And it's only been 6 months. This is bad. This is weird. It's weird, at least. I don't know what to think. It doesn't seem like a businessman would like these things. This is chaos.
You think so?
You know, like I got to know how many. I mean, I can't buy a Switch, too, but I also couldn't buy a PS5. So that don't tell you nothing. But there is a certain level of like, you know, we have things, there are things on the horizon perhaps, just as unpredictability. People don't know how many, you know, lean cuisine meals to import from China or whatever, you know, or how many, what else comes from China? Sewing kits, at Amazon. I bought sewing kits off Amazon. I don't know how to sew. I keep buying sewing kits, whatever.
Santa Maria candles.
Santa Maria candles. How many Santa Maria candles do we need? I don't know. It's like we're killing a lot of people. We're deporting people. Maybe we need less. I'm just saying. Those people like Santa Maria candles, right? People we're deporting.
Right. That's right.
Yeah.
Well, you know, and the game has totally changed.
Yeah.
Because, like, yeah, like, you know, it used to be you needed stability as like a precondition for making money.
Right.
But now it's like there's kind of ways to you know, people are just doing pump and dump schemes.
Sure.
And, you know, it's like there's ways to make money even if everything's in chaos.
You can sell your ass.
You can show your ass.
Sell that stanky ass. You know, or sell your Madeline muffins.
You can do dirty shit on OnlyFans.
You can light people on fire on the outside Coney Island in the subway. You know, there's all sorts of ways to get by in New America.
You know, billionaires used to kind of feed their egos through these public works, projects and stuff. But now they just challenge each other to dirty fist fights in the street.
Yeah,
and you know,
never fight.
Show their ass.
You talking about like Zuckerberg and Bezos?
Yeah,
that never happened.
No, it didn't.
Yeah, just a bunch of punks. No, but so whatever. It does seem though, like it does seem like Iran might be able to build a bomb. Which again, I've said 3 weeks in a row now. Cool. If they nuke us, I'll have egg on my face. Mm-hmm. That being said, I was against bombing their, you know, if they nuke us now, you can't blame me. Because, like, well, I advocated for it before we tried to bomb them. You don't agree?
No.
You think about you think I won't look. If they nuke us, I'll change. I'll stop saying good bully for them. I'll change my tune. I'll say I was wrong. How about that? I'll eat crow. But I'm pretty sure they're not going to, you know, because you know what happened if they bombed us? We'd bomb them and they'd be gone. Mm. Right?
Yeah.
3 weeks in a row.
I don't even know.
People get upset because, like, you know, he's like, there might be slightly defending Iran. I'm saying give Iran the bomb and no one picks this up. It's like, I'm not saying just to, you know, be an edgelord or anything, but, you know, put this on Drudge Report. Ray Kump thinks Iran should have the bomb. Help us out, Drudge. What do I gotta do here? You know? What do we gotta do to get the aggregators? I gotta send a box of chocolate turtles? You know, whatever. Gotta play ball? Gotta play ball. So what's going on? What would
an Iran war protest, if we did end up with boots on the ground in Iran somehow?
Yeah.
Like, what would a protest of that look like now? You know, I remember going to Iraq war protests years ago. Did you ever go to an Iraq war protest?
No, I guess that's the reason it didn't work. I guess because I didn't show up.
Look, it may have you being there may have sped things along.
I would have turned the tide. Yeah, maybe. Sorry, I didn't show up. I did say we shouldn't go.
Your presence, you're always important.
I agree with that, but you know, whatever. Go on.
You know, it's like the Lorax said.
I don't know what the Lorax is. I don't read children's books. I'm sorry. Is that the thing on Sesame Street?
Nothing will change. You know, not one thing will change unless you show your ass.
And now I said to Lorax, hey, Lorax, you smell like shit. Get back in the zoo. Fuck you, Lorax. Fuck, I can't. Come on, listen to something called a Lorax. You sound like something I should hunt in like, you know, in the Russian tundra. But whatever. Oh, I'm sorry. Is that one of your prized books? The Lorax? What about the Indian in the cupboard? What did he say? Well, remember that book? I always loved those books. I read all 4 of them. I mean, unless they made more later on. They even made a movie out of it at some point. The Indian in the Cupboard were my favorite books as a kid.
Oh, yeah?
As a young adult, even. Maybe, I don't know, you kid. It's just a kid. I mean, I wasn't 13 reading them. Bring it, look it up, Indian in the Cupboard. This kid had a little plastic Indian, and he puts it in a little chest, and they call it a cupboard, whatever. And it becomes, that's the movie. I don't want to see the movie. Fine, whatever.
Hold on.
I want the book cover. Yeah, the one with the brown one. Make that bigger. Make that nice. I want to see this is what I loved as a kid. This book here, it's fine. This is The Indian in the Cupboard by Lynn Reed Bank. And I don't know what was so fascinating about it. It's just you get plastic Indian at a little toy store.
I get it. You imagine those guys coming to life.
I remember there was a picture of them eating beans and eggs. He got a spoonful of eggs and beans and he gave it to the cow because it was a cowboy too. and they're feasting on a big spoonful of eggs and beans. I'm like, this is great. I mean, this is what children's books used to be, like young adult books were. Not like, girls humping vampires. That's what's wrong with this country. We used to believe in something. Oh, I'm sorry, was that called the Native American, the proud Native American in the cupboard? I mean, he talked about his people in the longhouse. He's like, I don't live in a teepee, I live in a longhouse, you dumb ignorant bastard. But they call him an Indian, so they're mad. I don't know. People just can't get over things. Whatever. What am I supposed to do? I'm supposed to get on the cross myself, like Christ 2.0.
We need your blood.
I'll fall off. The cross will topple over. Top heavy. His cross is top heavy.
I'm imagining it happening during the part, where they speared his rib.
His topple on top of him.
Topples over it and it impales him.
Oh! Give me a sponge full of vinegar, please. Sponge full of vinegar, please. I'm dying here.
That's the kind of pain and humiliation that could really make the prophecy come true.
Which prophecy? The Star Wars one?
Because you're always. Have you ever heard there's like a philosophical kind of reading on the crucifixion where the pain is part of the prophecy being fulfilled.
No, you're talking about the movie Heat. The action is the juice. That's what you're thinking of. All right. And Tom Sizemore, then he grabs a kid. There's a human shield. R.I.P. What's the name of that movie? Do you remember?
I forget.
Yeah, that
was a great scene, though.
It's good. Anyway, anything to add, or? I think that about does it. Thank you so much for tuning in. And remember, subscribe to the show so we can keep this train moving.
Choo-choo.
Otherwise, people will light me on fire. Also, patreon.com/RayComp if you really want some more, and you should. Because honestly, if you like this, the Patrons are like, oh, God, so good. So good. Either way.
Really great.
I'm not going to get desperate about it. I'm not Madeline cookies, all right? Take it or leave it, but you should take it because it's pretty good. Either way, we'll see you next week. Have a great week.